Going live. We are live. Hey Rob, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. That somewhere is here.
Absolutely.
Welcome everybody to the tequila and mezcal and queso tasting. Friday. I am Gina, the cheese whiz and founder of Venissimo.
And I'm Robbie G, the professor of cheese.
Well to do in your company today, Rob. Thank you all for joining. Let's see, I know some of you, this is not the first time at this rodeo, but for those of you that is, this is how it works. We're going to go over all the cheeses that were on the plate, if you got it today. We're going to go all over the tequila and mezcal that our friends at Bottlecraft were so gracious to source and find for us. And we're going to tell you why we think some of them go together. And I think it's going to be really fun. We'll tell you a little bit about each cheese, but try not to eat everything at once, because don't you think it's best to, we'll have recommendations of what go together, but maybe you'll find something that goes better together.
Yeah, plan to save a little bit, so don't just shoot everything. If you have like your salt and your lime all ready,
yes,
just hold off on that. We're going to drink it a little bit differently today. I know we're Americans, but we're going to have it neat, like Mexican style.
Yes,
and so save a little bit, because we have suggestions, but that's always what they are, just that, suggestions. So save a little bit of everything to mix and match, because that's part of the fun, for sure.
Absolutely. And if you have a YouTube account, we're going to have chat available, so that's super fun. I'm going to try to answer questions as we go along. You don't have to have that, but to chat you do have to have the account. So I'll be watching it. I'll say hi to everybody, try to answer as we go, and I guess that's it. Here we go.
Let's identify before we get into. I think we're going to start with some general notes on mezcal and tequila, and but we want to identify what's on your plate first, just so we know what's what. And so there's several accoutrements as well as 4 cheeses, and I'm going to identify them in order. Yeah. So that will make it easier too. This is the Bucherondin, otherwise known, which is the goat cheese. Bucherondin. The second one is going to be the gold. Sorry, this one.
Yes.
So these little triangles, that's the Estero Gold.
And that one has kind of a crusty outer rind you'll see on the edge. It's very golden inside, and then just kind of a brownish crusty rind.
The third one will be this one that's chunked up in this rustic looking chunk, and that's the Flagship Reserve. And the fourth cheese is this one, which is called Alex, and they're in these little sticks.
And smell that one. I'll tell you, that one is the one we're going to save for the end. We're going to work our way up to Alex.
Today we're going to call it Alejandro.
Okay? Alejandro, I like it. Oh, that's a good one.
Thank you very much. And then some of the accoutrements, we have a guava paste, is it?
Guava paste from Mexico.
Okay. Mm-hmm. These are sweetie drop peppers. They taste great, but they're also beautiful. So great color to make the plates pop a little bit. This is a what, dried pineapple?
Yeah, it's a dehydrated pineapple, you guys. And I'm going to tell you about that when we eat it. It got a little wilty because it's humid today. Yeah. It's hot and humid. So the pineapples got wilty, but they're delicious. Dehydrated pineapple slice goes great with mezcal.
I see crackers. There's rosemary. We always put rosemary, and then a little dried black mission fig on there as well. So shall we start with beverages? And
I think we shall.
Okay,
let's do it.
I have to tell you, I don't know how many times Gina has said she's kind of scared. I think she's had some bad experiences with tequila in her past. I don't know.
One bad experience.
But you're very smart. It stayed at 1.
It stayed at 1, and you know how long it stayed at 1?
I don't.
We're just going to say over 30 years, okay? Ask everyone that knows me. They'll try to say, taste this margarita, taste this, tequila. And I mean, I just get a whiff of it, and it can take me right back to 30 years ago. But these are very good ones. Like, they're not, just run-of-the-mill, apparently. So I'm going to face my fears. We had our little fearless thing in the past. Now face the fears and dive right back in with little sips and see what we think. We're going to start with the Blanco, which is this first one. It's with the little green label, Suerte. So that's the Blanco. Very light tequila. Rob will tell you more about tequila in general, but I can tell you that this one, young, clearly distilled, no oak aging. This is why it's just so crystal clear. This one happens to come from a company that just ages in stainless steel, double distilled, very simple but very clean tequila is what I'm told, and we're going to find out.
Yeah, so kind of general tequila information. And by the way, the first two are tequila, and the the last two are mezcal.
Correct.
So tequila is a lot of similarities actually with cheese, because it's, what defines a tequila is place, the process by which it's made. So tequila comes from a state in Mexico called Jalisco. Oh, sorry, no.
I knew you were going to do that.
It's Jalisco.
Jalisco.
It's a state on the west coast, sort of halfway down the country. But Jalisco is the biggest city, and the capital is Guadalajara, and the spirit is named for the town of Tequila, which is about 65 miles from Guadalajara. But it's only made from the blue agave plant. So there's many species of agave, but this tequila, in order to be called tequila, must come from the state of Jalisco, and it has to be made from blue agave.
Blue agave, and that it's kind of exactly like champagne, because champagne has to come from Champagne.
Yeah, it's
tequila from Jalisco.
It's either made in the lowlands or in the highlands, and the fruit from the agave in the highlands is a little bit sweeter. They grow bigger, so that's a difference between the two different where they grow in the state. Where they grow the agave, the blue agave in Jalisco, is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Oh wow!
And that was established in 2006 or something like that.
Super cool.
But there's a few different ages, and so that's another similarity with cheese. The youngest is called Blanco, which means white, and even with cheeses, there are many cheeses that are called white cheese. Fromage blanc in French means white cheese, and it refers to fresh cheese.
Queso blanco.
Queso blanco in Mexico.
Yeah.
And what is fresh cheese? It's cheese that is not aged at all. So it's the exact same thing. So a blanco tequila is one that is less than 2 months. So it's either not aged at all or aged for a very short time, and it's aged in steel. Like Gina said, this one is aged in steel or in a neutral oak, so it doesn't take on any color.
Of that color or flavor, right? Yeah. Interesting. Shall I go in?
Go do it. If
Cheers,
you dare.
everyone. Salud. I dare. I'm doing it. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I can totally
Do you need to
taste
crouch down? And
Okay. A little more burny than I expected, but warm in a good way. I still get that flavor. It's that agave. It's from the agave, right? I mean, that's what tequila is. So I do get that green flavor, but it's heavy on green. So I'm going to tell myself it's more like a vegetable. but actually quite good. And we're going to do that Blanco with this Blanco, with this little Bucherondin, right?
Yeah, so the Bucherondin
go
is a French goat cheese. And it's the youngest, and it is. Goat cheeses tend to be very white or pale in color because goat's milk doesn't get the color that, say, a sheep or cow's milk will take on. It is. It's fairly young for a cheese. It's probably in the 4 to 6 week range.
It's delicious.
And it's got like that, and save some of the cheese too for the other tequila and mezcals. But this is a very traditional, crumbly French goat cheese from the Loire Valley. Bucherondin just means log because of the shape of the cheese. It comes in a big old log shape. What do you think? You like?
I love this, everybody. I don't know if everybody's getting it, but okay, it makes the tequila way better. I don't know. I like them together. It makes it very earthy, very minerally to me. I taste stone. I don't know why. You know what I might think why, Rob, is what I learned. There's a restaurant in Old Town called Tahona. I never knew what that meant, but I understand that Tahona is a wheel. It's a big stone wheel that's used to grind agave, and certain makers use that wheel to grind down the agave and extract the juices, and this maker, Suerte, does that technique. So they even claim that it has a stony quality to it, and now tasting them together, I definitely think it's stony.
So is that a mill? Is that called a mill?
Kind of like a mill. Yeah, we saw in Sicily how they stone milled, use that mill. It looks almost exactly the same to make flour, but they're doing it to crush up the agave.
See that for grain, for chocolate, for lots of things.
Stone ground. got one question, and this was from Kay Evans.
Hey, Kay.
Hey, Kay. Am I using champagne glasses? They do look like champagne glasses, but this would be way too small for my taste as a champagne glass.
She drinks out of the bottle. Come on, don't let her fool you.
These are just actually little spirits glasses that I had. So I don't know what the proper vessel for straight up tequila and mezcal is, but I did learn, because I was going to put these in the freezer. I wanted to chill them, but I learned that just like kind of the cheeses, best served at room temperature for better flavor.
Yeah.
So I think, anyways, I like it.
Yeah.
Blanco, it is very clean. I think this is your straight up tequila.
Well, so some other kind of cool, as we get into the next tequila in a second, but some sort of interesting information about where it comes from, tequila, in the region of or the state of Jalisco. That is where that is sort of like the American view of a lot of things that are Mexican or very traditionally Mexican come from that region and from Guadalajara. Mariachis and sombreros, guacamole. A lot of the cuisine comes from there. The menudo.
Jalisco, really?
So not the boy band. I knew you were going to say that.
Ricky Martin.
But the soup isn't it made from tripe or something?
It is.
Yes. But so a lot of
a better word for it.
A lot of things that we sort of like. It's a lot of Mexican stereotypes, or a lot of things that we traditionally think of from Mexico come from that state.
Okay.
Puerto Vallarta is there. That's a place that I visited as a kid, the difference, and we'll talk about mezcal, but because mezcal is also made from agave, but it's made from over 30 different species.
Crazy that there are.
Yeah.
And agave to me looks like a giant bottom of a pineapple, kind of, or a giant artichoke.
Yeah.
Giant. And they can be giant.
They're
right?
big, these spiky things. But what they do is for both mezcal and for tequila, they take out the center, like the heart, the body of it, and it's called the piña.
The piña.
The piña.
That's what they're grinding up.
Yeah, that's what basically they cook, and then after they cook it, they will distill it 2 or 3 times to get the spirit from it. And with mezcal, we'll talk about this, but it sometimes has a smokiness, and that has to do with the way that it's cooked. So it's cooked in with charcoal or wood or what have you, whereas with tequila, they'll steam the piña. So it's just a different process. You can kind of explain the differences in cheeses by the different techniques or just small little tweaks in the process.
Completely
of
changes
how they're
it.
made. Completely changes it.
I think, Rob, and I suggest everybody try the guava paste with each one of these. Because this one to me, it's green and vegetal and a little tropical. And here, Rob, you got to try.
Put some on my finger.
Okay. Don't you want cheese? Cheese all day. Okay.
I haven't eaten cheese all day.
That's crazy. I'm gonna give you your cheese.
This is like my 30 event of the day, Gina.
Ladies first. Oh, that's busy. Okay, I'm gonna put some on there. It's good, right? With the bouche though, here, let's try that. So this guava paste comes from Mexico. This one though, however, comes from the other side of Mexico, the east. From, what did I say?
Veracruz.
Veracruz. Castillo, I'm going to say it wrong, I know it is. Casa Cabillo. So we've got this guava paste. This is at Mission Hills shop, but very tropical. How is it with the bouche? And I will do it with the tequila again. Tropical.
Oh, yeah.
I like it better in a paste. The guava raw, it's a hard to eat fruit for me.
I like it,
but I love it like this.
It does the same thing that like a fig jam would do or an apricot jam. It's just the nice sweet contrast. Yeah. And it's really
make this mineral-y to me. It's very stony.
It's a good balance. The Bucherondin is really fudgy and sort of.
I love it today.
Yeah, it's got a nice texture right now.
Okay. Next. Onward.
So
tequila.
Tequila, yeah. What were some other things about tequila? The next one is going to be a more aged.
Oh yeah. Let's go in. A reposado.
Reposado. It just means rested.
Rested.
And that's referring to the time that it rests in the aging room or in the oak. So they are aged in oak barrels, and of course that's what gives it the color.
Yeah.
But this is just the next level of aging, and that's 2 months to about a year.
A reposado, 2 months to a year. I love the golden color.
And it usually has a golden color.
Going in.
You get yourself psyched up.
Ooh.
Do we like?
Yeah, we're liking this one better. This is bordering towards a whiskey to me. Oh, wow. Wait till you all taste this one. This Reposado. Vanilla-y. I think that's why it's leaning toward now a whiskey. And the oak, probably.
We were just talking about what we wanted to do next, like for a pairing for spirits, because we've done a lot of whiskeys, and this is the first time doing mezcal and tequila, and we were thinking like this is great because there's so many similarities with whiskey, with that you can have the various ages, and it's all based on region, and that's what gives it all of the complexity. And there's so many similarities because you can compare ages and where they come from, how they're made. I was saying that because it's harder to pair if we had 4 of the same, like young, fresh, or white liquors. It would be tough to like differentiate.
Exactly.
So it's nice to have something that's different, that you can really taste a difference in the flavor.
Yeah, I really can. To me, this is what I got sick on. To me, this is something that I would just completely sip as a, right now, 5 o'clock aperitif. Yeah.
And I wasn't kidding when I said, like, in Mexico, they do drink it neat. I mean, they kind of...
Neat.
Whereas...
That's clean. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas, like, here, I know when I moved to San Diego partially because I can go down to Tijuana when I was 18.
Gosh, yeah, who has those stories?
And let me tell you, oh boy.
Ew.
And Billy, it took me more than one time to get sick to stop. but we used to, and it was just like they would hold your head up and like pour it down your throat.
And that wasn't this. Yeah.
No, it's very, very different. So this, I mean, it's meant to be savored, drink slowly. And
this is a sipper.
When we use this word complex, describing beverages or cheese, we're talking about something that has just a lot of flavor profile going on, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things. And those are the types of, like something on the start, something on the middle, something on the finish. And those are the types of drinks that you want to pair with this type of artisan cheese, something that's going to bring out something different when you put them together.
Yeah.
So you want to have them taste great or be fun to taste individually, but when you put them together, it's a whole another experience.
Wow, exactly. So we're putting together our golden tequila with our Estero Gold from California.
This is Estero Gold is you're having that's Flagship.
I'll put this right here. Estero Gold.
You weren't paying attention when I was explaining.
I wasn't paying attention. And 3 sips is all it takes.
This is gonna be a long night.
It's gonna be a long night. Estero Gold, everyone. This is correct.
Yeah.
The gold with the rhyme.
The triangle looking one.
I'll go now.
So,
oh man.
I'll get your reaction first, and I'll talk about it.
Creamy. It's almost cheddary, Gouda-y, but creamier to me than that. Let's see what goes with this Reposado. Ooh, makes this sharper.
Interesting.
When I had this on its own, I thought it was really vanilla-y mild. When I do it with the cheese, it makes the Reposado pop.
Yeah.
I mean, much more sharp and bright. Interesting.
A lot of times, I think it's the fattiness of the cheese kind of works as like a vessel, and and saltiness really will bring flavors, and it'll bring a strong flavor. It'll make it even more powerful. Well,
that's why I think, Rob, I mean, think of this. Tequila, everyone learns to drink a shot of tequila by putting the lime and the salt. It all comes down with the salt, like to tame or just to bring out that flavor. I'm not sure which one. So salty cheeses, again, natural fit for tequila. Any salty, I think like a Pecorino Romano, something super salty would be great with any tequila because of the salt. Yeah.
And salt makes you thirsty, so you can drink more of it too.
Okay, maybe it was a marketing ploy, sales ploy.
Whatever. But Estero Gold is so it's made by a family in Northern California. I consider the cheesemaker Joe a friend at this point. We've known him for a long time. The family has had the farm since the early 1900s. They are in a small little town off Highway 1 in the North Bay called Valley Forge. I had never even heard of this little town, and I'm from the Bay Area. But they make sort of Swiss and Italian style cheeses, but they put their own little spin on it. They've had the farm, and they have maybe 400 Jersey cows, which are... They're smaller cows. They give a little bit less milk, but it's really, really good, rich flavor. And they make, they have a whole catalog of cheeses. This one they call a Montasio style. And Montasio is a cheese from northern Italy that is most similar to an Asiago. It's almost like an Alpine style, but it's different. More, like I'm trying to think of what else it's similar to. It was originally made in a monastery, but they make
almost Alpine-esque too.
Alpine-ish, and so it's named for an estuary up there in the Bay Area. But this is their sort of regular version. They have an extra aged version.
So they would have an añejo version.
Yes.
Which we're not having. This is the reposado version.
And same with the cheddar that we're going to taste. And really most cheeses. Yeah. There is a specific cheese, and when people ask for like different types of Parmesan or different types of Manchego, the difference, by the way, is really just going to be different ages. That's it, because there's rules and regulations that say that they all have to be made the same way with the milk from the same place, and so any difference is basically going to be the age of the cheeses, because even if it's a different producer, because they're strictly regulated on how they produce the cheese, they're going to taste very similar.
Yeah.
But okay, so I get off.
Right, the aging then though
bit.
changes the flavor, but the base cheese is the same.
Yeah, Estero Gold it's only made by Valley Ford in Northern California, and the older version is just going to be crunchier, drier, a little bit stronger, but this is packed
creamy.
With flavor.
Yeah, taste that. Super good, super creamy. My opinion. Okay, while I really like these two together, the Estero Gold and the Reposado, I also love the Reposado with the Bucherondin. I think it's the creaminess that kind of settles that just complete burning sensation of the tequilas. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? But if you have any Bucherondin, taste that with the Reposado. I think it's also quite good. Yeah.
So just to go over, since those were the two tequilas, we have Blanco, which is the youngest or freshest. It's not fresh, but I'm comparing it to cheese. Reposado is the second level, and then we go into Añejo, and then Extra Añejo.
Extra Añejo.
Which is, so Añejo means aged or vintage, and they're aged in oak for a minimum of 12 months, and then Extra Aged, which is the most, the most intense version.
Okay.
Those are aged a minimum of 3 years.
3 years. So I'm an añejo, I think. I'm a little aged.
We're both añejos. But like an añejo, we get better.
Yes, exactly. That's why we're in the business.
Yeah.
We're going to be one to get better.
Just like cheese. Well, and that's a matter of opinion. But, you were talking about margaritas, and margaritas, of course, I would say are the most popular tequila drink. Wouldn't you say?
I don't know.
What do you know about margaritas?
Nothing, because I just know that I didn't go down well.
I was looking at You still can't have a margarita?
No, I don't, because I smell the tequila.
How
I think it's
sad.
because it's not typically the best tequila, right?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? So I'll try to change my tune.
So you know how Spider-Man and all these guys have like origin stories? I was looking at the origin story of margarita.
Okay, and do tell.
I don't know why I said that, but basically, looking back, Prohibition was in the early 30s or so, and the first time margaritas were mentioned was by a newspaper editor from Iowa, who came down to probably San Diego on his way to Tijuana and had a drink called margarita. Margarita.
So you think it's originated here?
It was first mentioned in 36, which is just after Prohibition. So it was made before that. But here's where I'm going. The word margarita means daisy. That's where it comes from. There is a drink called Daisy, and it's the same thing, but it was not made with tequila. So during Prohibition, if you wanted to get a Daisy, you had to go down to Tijuana, and instead of having rum or whatever they put in it, they just put tequila. So that's where the margarita started. There's many origin stories, but this is the one I'm going with.
Sticking with it.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it. Mostly because of that Iowa tie-in, and my favorite uncle lives in Iowa, who you know.
Iowa.
Yeah, you know Apple. And he has, like many people across the country, he has a margarita night with his friends.
Aw.
Wednesday night margarita night.
You should call it Daisy Night.
And well, I'm just saying, it totally comes full circle, you know,
Yeah.
with the origin story and Wednesday night margarita night. So shout out to Apple.
Perfect. Enjoy your margarita night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading all these stories about how margaritas came to be, but that's the earliest one.
The margarita.
And I mean, one of them says that there was a lady named Margarita who lived in Dallas but I don't buy that.
So not sure.
I don't buy it.
Well, I read that actually a better tequila to use in a margarita is the Reposado versus the Blanco. But I think Blancos tend to be, the cheaper ones maybe. So I think they tend to get used more. But I think what I read, they recommend Reposados and margaritas. I just recommend maybe
this smells more like the margarita tequila to me.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent.
What do I know?
Now we know. But I think it's equally good with both cheeses. Let me put it that way. So that was kind of a fun experiment. And you know what I think everybody should try too? Can I tell you about the dehydrated pineapple?
Is it time?
Yes, it's time to take a bite of that because I think it's plenty. It's so intense. Literally, this was sliced on a mandolin, slapped on a sheet pan, stuck in the oven. On dehydrate 170 degrees for 6 hours, and then you get it. It was crispy, everybody, and it really is good crispy. But taste it; it's so intense. It's so good with tequila. Yeah, that's yours. Keep nibbling the pineapple. It's a great palate cleanser.
It's good.
It's bright, right?
Oh, really good.
Super intense pineapple flavor. Now let's see what we think of it with Reposado.
You could probably put that in the...
Ooh, that's so good. Well, can I give it, again, credit to Tahona, the restaurant in Old Town. That's where I first had this sliced bit of pineapple in my mezcal drink there. I was like, that's super cool. Let's try this at home. And yay, what a good way to go. So
can you drink mezcal more than you can drink tequila then?
Yeah, because
Really?
I think I like this. The smokiness hides that agave, I think, taste. Yeah, so there you have it. Okay. Onward. Do I pour the next one?
Yeah.
So now we are going to Mezcal. And this one, you guys, is the Vago. I hope I'm saying that right. This one, heard a great story, Rob. So the maker's name, if you look at the label, it's Mezcal Vago Elote. Underneath, it says by Aguilino Garcia. That is the maker of this. And they always put the maker's name on the label. Well, this is Aguilino Garcia Lopez, super famous in the mezcal world, recently passed away, so you will not see any more bottles coming with his name on it, because he's no longer making it. So it's a really special bottle now. It's one of his. So if you can find any bigger ones in the store, and if you like it, I think they'll be kind of, something neat, because you would really have a taste of the mezcal maker in the bottle. So this one, what did I say? Little hints of citrus, what I've been told. This comes from Oaxaca area, which I think a lot of the mezcals, Rob can kind of attest to that, do. This also is ground with the Tahona stone, the pulp, of the agave, before it is cooked, to get it that smoky richness that are associated with mezcals. This one is supposedly lighter in smoke than some. Let's see what we think. Oh, you can smell it though. Do you smell that?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a campfire.
Wow.
It's like when you've been sitting around the campfire and then you get the smoke.
It reminds me of, again, another comparison to whiskey, but the really peaty whiskeys. It has that essence to it.
Essence. Whoa, that is bright.
No.
Woo!
Is it fiery?
Citrus,
Is it like...
fire. It is fire.
Yeah.
You get a burst of a flame, and then there it goes.
Yeah.
But if that's not super smoky, I'm not sure what the next one's going to be. But this one is also citrusy, and that's why I think citrus is always good with. They say, with the mezcals, is a slice of orange, or sometimes I'm going to try it with the.
Yeah, and when we do pairing, we sometimes mention different types of pairing and things that we think about. But that would be an example of complementary. If there's citrus in the beverage, then to try citrus with it, it can bring out those citrusy notes even more.
Yeah. And I think the citrus tames that fire bite. It's still ultra smoky, but then it's not just burning burning my throat. I think that the guava and the little sweetie drop would be so good with that as well, because it would do the same thing, that real sweetness. With the pineapple.
Why don't you put the guava paste in the
and mix it? It'll be my new drink. It'll be my drink.
So.
Yeah.
Mezcal, as Gina said, where tequila is really, really associated with the state of Jalisco, mezcal is associated with the state of Oaxaca. Oaxaca is, I mean, it might be considered the food mecca of Mexico. I mean, there's so many different types of peppers and great native food there. There's great cheese there too, by the way. There's if anyone's ever heard of a cheese it's just called Oaxaca cheese.
Oaxacan, yeah, that's gotta be one of our famous Mexican cheeses.
It's amazing. I wish it were more available here in the States.
Yeah.
But it's basically what they call a pasta falada style cheese. I've seen it in markets in Mexico, like in Mexico City.
Some of the Mexican markets here.
Oh, is it? So they kind of usually hang it, and it's like wrapped around itself, almost like a rubber band ball.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But they stretch the curd like you would for a mozzarella or something, and it has a similar actually taste as those southern Italian cheeses. But Oaxaca cheese is amazing. So it's associated mostly with Oaxaca, but it can be made in a few other states.
And you said out of 30, any of 30 different types of agave.
Yeah, and so where tequila must come from blue agave, mezcal comes from it can come from over 30 different types of agave or species. And then the smokiness comes from just a little tweak in the process when they make the cheese. So when they cook the piña, the hearts of the plant for the tequila, they steam it. Whereas the word mezcal actually means cooked in an oven. That's what the word
actually means. What is mezcal? Yeah. Okay.
And they cook it with wood and charcoal, and as they cook it, and then they basically cook it in these like earthen pots.
So cool.
And then they age them usually in like clay, but it takes on a ton of smokiness.
You guys. I love it. It's really great with the pineapple. It's super with the Estero Gold. Now we're going to go, can I do the flagship now?
Yeah, well, you've already tasted it.
I've already eaten it, but this is what we thought would really, really go good with it. You know why? Because I thought the smoked cheddar is so good.
Yeah.
So if this is cheddar, we're going to put it with the smoke, see if it's good together.
Well, and here's the thing. You don't need to pair it with a smoked cheddar because that's what the drink will do.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Maybe I should soak a wheel in mezcal. I wonder what would happen. I don't know.
That's a good idea.
I have to try that.
Cheesemakers. We're going to talk about creativity on Sunday. So.
Exactly. Oh, that cheddar's so good. It's sweet. That might be good with the smoke. But dive into this. So Flagship Reserve from Beechers in Washington, and literally made in downtown Seattle.
Yeah.
So they've got a tiny cheese making facility right next to the original Starbucks in Pike Market, and you can see the cheese making happening just from outside on the street. And then they take these wheels though and transfer them to these big warehouses just outside of Seattle to age. Yeah. So we got to see them made, and it's really fascinating. This is a crunchy genius. I love it.
Yeah, the Flagship Reserve is their flagship cheese. Oh wait, let's get your reaction.
Wow.
We likey?
We likey. I said, wow. I like mezcal still better, but because I think I like the smoke. But this is a likey.
So to piggyback onto what Gino's saying about Flagship, it's their flagship cheese. They so their home base is in Pike's Place, right there in Seattle, like she said, where Starbucks is, where they throw the fish at you, and you got to be ready to catch it.
Throw the fish, eat some cheese, buy some coffee.
They get so they have the milk brought in from a number of farms just outside of the city. They make the cheese right there. Yeah. And so you can see it, and then they send it back out to age because I'm sure real estate is
a little pricey down there.
Pricey down in Pike's Place. They have another, location Beechers does in New York City.
Yeah, that one's also
Flatiron. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can watch the cheese making process there as well. So super amazing urban cheese making.
Well, I was talking to the proprietor one time, and he was telling me. The idea was like to show urbanites like myself that it is hard freaking work making cheese, and cheddar is especially hard because there's a whole process when it comes to making cheddar. It's called cheddaring. You can YouTube it. You can you can see it at these facilities, but they have to like lift these huge slabs of curd, which are really really heavy, and so like imagine a guy walking right down the street in Manhattan, although there are not as many people going to work these days, but imagine you go to these glamorous places like Benissimo or whatever, or a restaurant, and you see a cheese plate, and you don't realize the hard work these guys are putting in to bring those cheeses to you. And and he said he wanted people to see what really goes into making
cheese. Yeah, and how much milk you need to make how much cheese is from that. If you do want to see a video specifically of Beechers, everybody, on our channel, YouTube, look up, I did a Vespa tour. That was my first stop when we did a ride once in Seattle. Got some great video of the whole cheddaring process.
Nice.
So you can see what cheddaring means that Rob's talking about, and how strong arms you need to be a cheddar maker. I just had to scoop some curds, and I was like, oh my God, I'm dying here. Yeah,
I did.
It's crazy.
One time in New York, I went and made cheese with them in the New York
perfect.
facility.
Did you scoop too?
Yeah. I worked for a whole day. I just, it's a small world that we work in, and so quick email or phone call, and they're like, oh yeah, come in and work for the day, and I'm like, I just want to take some footage, take some photos, video that we can use for the AOC, and we'll call it an internship. And they felt so bad because obviously they were going to pay me. I was volunteering, so they paid me in mac and cheese. Did I ever tell you this story?
No, but that would be so good.
They make the famous mac and cheese that Oprah got behind, and so you can probably buy it in grocery stores
I think now.
But it's
delicious.
and you can find it at like the airport up there. SeaTac, you can get their mac and cheese.
It would be good to eat the mac and cheese with this mezcal.
Oh yeah,
all of that with the mezcal.
Amazing.
But
what's cool too about the Flagship. But they make a few different cheddars. But the Flagship Reserve is more of an English style traditional version.
Cloth bound
of a cheddar. It's cloth bound. Those types of cheddars, they only age up to a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I don't think this one has aged that long. This is probably closer to a year. Maybe a little bit more than a year, but they have I did a tasting like 2 hours ago, and somebody was tasting a cheddar, and they got tropical like passion fruit and pineapple notes on it. So you mentioned that you got some kind of sweeter notes on this. Cheddars, don't think of cheddar as boring old, orange American cheese. Think of it as one of the most incredible complex cheeses out there.
For sure. This is good too with the pineapple. The pineapple, I would just roll the cheese in a pineapple and like make a pineapple roll. I think that would be delicious.
A flagship taco.
A flagship taco. Call Beechers.
Yeah. Wait, don't tell them.
No, don't tell them.
We're gonna do it.
Okay, sorry, don't call Beechers. Okay, Rob, I like it.
Any questions?
I like it. No questions yet. Okay. Everybody's just, I think, tipping back the tequilas.
Oh, nice.
All right, keep tipping.
Keep tipping, y'all.
Keep tipping. We're going to go to this guy. How cool is that jar?
That is very
cool.
cool.
I'm sure that's the technical term. Espadin El Silencio. If you go to I think it's silencio.com, they have a really like black and white, rustic like TV ad for this. It's super cool. You'll want to see it. Silencio.com if you want to see this little ad. But anyway, let's see what color this is. Still very clear. Mezcal.
It is clear. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be a little golden like the Reposado. But my notes from this, what I was told was, whoa, this is super smoky. But the other one was super smoky. This one, what did I learn about this guy? Double distilled. This one I don't smell the smoke, and that was another thing. They said you might not smell it, but you should taste it. Let's see what we think about that. I think the other one's smokier.
Really?
Yeah, this one's a good finish. This would be that after dinner.
A little smoother?
A little smoother. With the dark chocolate. That one was more citrus and super bright. Ultra smoke. This one, a little smooth. I like it. Finish. It would be good with dark chocolate.
Yeah. Interesting.
Really good. Let me see if it's good with the Bucherondin, which is, I think it will be because it's so dark of a flavor. When I say dark.
Yeah.
But this one, Rob, I put with the Alex. Did you smell this?
Ooh. Jeez.
This is a stinker, everybody. Alex.
I smelled the rind too to get ultimate effect.
Yeah, the rind. Ooh, everybody.
That's where the smell will come from, is the rind.
Yeah. So we tried Alex with this because I thought that ultra smokiness would be good again. Alex might be good with the one before. But the interior of Alex, which is a cheese from Germany, southern Germany, named after the Allgäuer Express that would take supplies from the city up to the mountains. Alex, Allgäuer Express. I think it's super good. The interior is not so scary as the smell.
You know, you were making me think about how like when you smelled it, and you said it didn't smell very smoky, but maybe the flavor will be
That's
smokier. When it comes to cheese, if it's a stinky cheese, if it has a really strong aroma, that doesn't necessarily mean the flavor is gonna punch you in the face. I mean, in fact, the flavor, the taste of something is always, for cheese, is milder than the smell. And so don't be afraid.
Don't be scared, ever. No
Just
fear.
dive in there.
Yeah.
With the stinky cheeses.
A question again from Constance. Just a reminder on these peppers. They're called, oh my God, they're so cute. They're called sweetie drops. These are little Peruvian peppers. Not spicy sharp like traditional Mexican peppers, but like a pepper nonetheless. Sweet and spicy. It's so good. It's refreshing. I think it would be good. Try it with the smoke. I'm going to try it with the smoky mezcal. The pepper. It's not too sharp at all, the pepper.
I like a little burst when I bit into it. It's good.
Oh, it's really good with that. So, it's a sweetie drop pepper.
They don't, sweetie drops remind me of peppadews. I mean, they're both bright red, but they don't have a lingering spice. There's a little kick, but it's not nothing to be afraid of.
It would be fun to do all of these with Mexican peppers. All the different Mexican peppers, from poblanos to chipotles.
I'll tell you what would be fun. It would be fun to do them with Mexican cheeses. We someday need to get artisanal Mexican cheeses here in the States. I will say, in Mexico City, they have cheese shops, just like a Benissimo, that carry aged cheeses from all over the country of Mexico that they're not available to us here.
I know.
Someday, hopefully they will be, but
importing restrictions.
And it's sad because you think of the Mexican cheese lineup as just being like the fresh queso fresco and like
just
cotija,
really the cooking cheeses, which I want to call it.
And but there's so much more than that when you go. There was a cheese shop that I visited in Mexico City, and it probably had 50 original Mexican cheeses, and none of them were like the ones I just mentioned.
Really great. The closest, Rob, if you ever can get back into Tijuana, there's just a big marketplace in the center of Tijuana. They had a bunch of artisanal cheeses, just stacked, just like you'd see in Europe. I saw lots of goat, because goats are super prevalent down there, and rubbed with peppers, things like that. Really, really good. So someday we'll keep working on those Mexican cheeses.
Yeah, that's not really what we do, But when they get here, we'll take it.
Exactly. Then we'll carry them. So I went and you got the Alex back with the Blanco. That was good too. That was really good too.
Well, fun.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention the little Kikos on the plate.
Yeah, the little crunch. Kiko's corn nuts, Spanish corn nuts.
Yeah, I say fancy corn nuts.
Fancy corn nuts. Yeah, really crunchy. Always need an element of crunch.
Yeah.
And also good with, it's a bar snack, right? Get out with the mezcals. This is way smoky now. This one's a little more easy to drink because this one's so smoky.
Would you have switched them around?
Maybe.
Yeah.
This is a nice finish, though. To me, that's like having a little glass of port at the end, or something that's just really calm and soothing. Or this one kind of still pows you in the face,
I figured that's how you felt when you were talking about pairing it with chocolate, because that tends to be
the dessert,
chocolate friendly.
So, any other questions of mezcal or tequila out there? I think, again, my favorite, probably because just I have this aversion to tequila, are the mezcals, but they are, a very different beast. But no questions. Everybody must just be having a good time drinking, and
Yeah, this was fun. This was I think this is the first time that we've done an actual pairing with tequila and mezcal.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Very likely we'll do more.
Exactly. I think it'd be fun to do some mixed cocktails too. At some point, everybody, some mixed drinks.
Yeah, actually, we should kind of put a call out we were thinking about what our next spirits one would be, and we're thinking about maybe gin, vodka, and cocktails, like a kind of a mix. But we'll do another whiskey one, so stay tuned.
I know,
we're not sure when that's going to be. Yeah, whiskey's always going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But I think a mixed thing, because you could have like a Cosmo and a margarita and a gin and tonic, and see what goes good with them.
I know there's some distilleries in town that do like canned cocktails that would be easy to work with.
Yeah. We could come up with something there.
Yeah.
But what is next, Rob? Super excited about this. Sunday, everybody. Creating and innovating, right?
Yeah. So this Sunday we'll do it's Sunday Sessions, which is where we talk about everything good that's going on in the world.
Only good news.
Believe it or not, there is good stuff happening in the world. And then of course we'll taste. We'll do a 4-cheese plate for that one, and we pick a topic, and the topic relates to life in general, but also cheese. So this Sunday, it's creativity.
Yeah, and these are creative cheeses. Definitely out of the box.
Yeah,
cheeses.
we're going to talk about how the cheesemakers are creative. We're going to talk about creating in business, and we're going to talk about all things that relate to creativity.
And then we're back to Wino Wednesday, a favorite.
And Wino Wednesday, we're doing it's a pecorino.
Yeah, we're going to be sheepish.
Sheep.
Calling all things sheep. So
does
wine
that mean
is called sheep.
Does that mean the plate's going to be all sheep's milk?
All sheep milk cheeses.
Wow.
Yeah, and what an exploration, because again, there's wide variety with that one ingredient of sheep milk. So sheep milk cheese paired with sheep wine, which is super unique from Italy. It's very rare to find, so we just got this wine. That'll be really good too.
Interesting, and that's one that you don't want to miss, because I think it's going to be a very interesting tasting to see how different
just
four
one,
sheep's milk cheeses
can be. Which this, no, never mind. This had a goat in it.
Yeah, we didn't have any sheep. We didn't have any sheep today.
Did get a question again from Constance about what kind of meats we would pair with this. I can get one off the top of my head that would be fabulous, and that's chorizo.
Yeah.
I would 100% do chorizo with these because of the spice, and that goes so good with the smoke.
Not just chorizo, but chorizo bello.
Chorizo bello, yeah. The spicy one.
Yeah, the spicy one, exactly.
Not chorizo blanco,
Yeah.
blanco again, the plain chorizo, but the spicy one.
Chorizo would be really good.
Yeah.
Like a sopressata, I think would be good.
Yeah. So because that's spicy again. I think for some reason the chorizo with the smoky and the sopressata with the tequilas would be really good. But those would be 100% top choices.
Yeah.
I feel that like bresaola or some light salami like that would get lost with these guys.
Yeah.
But it would be worth experimenting. Kind of meats, fruits, salty. Again, anything salty, you guys. I think that's the key with these. The saltier ones I liked better with all of this.
It's fun to play around. Like if you look at some of like what's traditionally paired with salt, citrus, those are elements to play around with.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Those are safe directions to go. And we always say this, but there's no right or wrong. You just play around and
have fun. And eat and drink.
Yeah, that's the main goal here, is to have fun.
Exactly. So I think, with that being said, I think we got everything with everyone. And thank you. We hope to see you again. Enjoy the rest of the tequila. There's so much in here. What are we going to do with all this? I don't know.
The night is young.
The night is young. Okay, on that note, everybody, have a great evening, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Adios.
Adios.